Cadillac Unscripted is on the air on 107.9 CDY. It is a half hour of local conversation, worthwhile things going on in the community. We talk about them week to week. Katie is off this week, and it is all sponsored by Independent Bank. And for Dave Johnson, did we have you in here to talk about this topic last year, or was it 2 years ago?
It was last year.
It was. Get a little closer to that microphone.
It was last year.
Much better. And Tereesa Arn, were you here with us too?
I was not.
You were not.
Dave was a solo show.
This show is not new to you, though. You've been in
It
here.
is not.
You've been in here once before. So Dave Johnson and Tereesa Arn are here to talk about an initiative to get kids reading. A kid who can't read is like a house without a foundation, in my opinion. So what are we doing to get kids reading locally? First of all, good morning. I didn't even give you a proper welcome.
Good morning.
It's nice to have you both here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So tell us about Spring into Reading.
So I took over the secondary English language arts at Wexford Missaukee ISD about 3 years ago. And, in my role, I try to support teachers in our local school districts and, best practices. And one of the big things that we noted is, more and more schools have less and less library time or library access. And so it's really falling on a lot of the teachers to build up a classroom library that they keep stocked with high interest, high impact titles that teenagers in particular who are not prone to wanting to pick up a book and, spend hours and hours and hours reading it. To get them excited about reading and to get some titles in there that appeal to a wide range of students. So I have known Tereesa for a while. I won't say how long because we're both very, very young. But
And we share a birthday.
That is true. We are birthday twins.
We are twinsies.
Okay. Same year too?
No, I'm much older.
No.
Okay.
Yes. No. But I had approached Tereesa and just said, hey, what could we do? How could Wexford Missaukee ISD partner with Horizon Books as, the local stop in town to, get books in people's hands? What can we do together to increase some of these classroom libraries? And that's when Spring into Reading was birthed last year. Tereesa, what am I missing on that?
I think we created because, the middle school teachers don't get all the support of PTOs and the parents. They come into school and they kind of forget that once they get in that higher level of reading, they don't have the access or support from parents as much to fill the libraries of their classroom like elementary kids do. I mean, they get the PTOs, they get parent support, and when they get into that middle school, they kind of fall off a little bit, and so we wanted to make sure that they were getting the support as well.
Is that the reason, Dave, that you decided you wanted to team up with Tereesa? Because she's on the cutting edge of what the kids are reading?
Don't put me on the spot there. I told him don't ask me what's hot right now. I just can't tell you.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on just a second. You manage a bookstore.
It's romantasy. That's what's hot. So it's hard to keep that.
Romantasy?
Romantasy is what's
I learned
hot.
a new term today.
Romantic fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's big. It's big.
Fanmantic, I guess, doesn't have the same ring.
Is that like 50 Shades of Lord of the Rings or
something like that? Bingo. So we try to keep that one out of those kids' hands because it goes a little dark. But
tell us about Horizon's involvement in this and why it's important.
So Horizon's involvement is when Dave came and talked to me, I thought, gosh, this is about time. We want to be in the community and support the schools. We want to support the classrooms and the teachers, and this is a great way for us to give back. We do a great incentive program for teachers where we do give 20% off if they shop in the store, and it's so easy to sit on your phone and scroll through that A place, and I don't think people realize how much that hurts local businesses and especially book businesses. So this was a way for us to get out into the community and show support as well as work with Dave.
That A place.
That A place.
Are we legally not allowed to say the name of
I
that
don't
A
know.
place?
We try not to say the A place.
Okay.
It's a big river.
Okay.
It is.
It's also a big boned female.
Oh.
You went a different direction than I was expecting there, Rich.
So, but it's extremely important to support local. I mean, that's the whole idea, and that's what ties all this in together, is that not only are we encouraging kids to read and get off the phone, because the phone time is way too much.
Astronomical.
Yep. But we're also supporting a local business.
And that's a benefit. That's a win-win for us because, we can always use local support.
So, Dave, how do you have special titles that you have? I mean, what are you encouraging the kids to read? And what ages are we looking at here?
So, we're really looking at 6th grade through 12th grade.
Okay.
And I leave it up to the individual teachers who supply a wish list to kind of determine what books go on there. I know several teachers pull their kids and say, hey, what books are not in our classroom library that you want to see, or what are some books that you've read that you think others should read? Some of the teachers just kind of select based off of, things that they've heard, or they're members of, National Council of Teachers of English, and they publish some book lists and recommendations as well. So it really runs the gamut. But I think Tereesa hit the nail on the head earlier that, right now some of those like dystopian novels never seem to go out of style with kids. My own daughter just picked up The Hunger Games this year. And that one's
great series.
It's a great series, but it's old-ish compared to some of the stuff coming out today. But for some reason it really speaks to teens to get into this fantasy world.
Look at Harry Potter. How long's that been around?
Yeah.
Well, that just popped into my mind. Is Harry Potter still popular amongst the young
popular.
people?
Yep.
Okay. Having never read any of the books or seen any of the movies.
Oh, shame on you.
How have you avoided this? You're like the one person who hasn't gotten COVID yet. Like,
no, I don't. My daughter, who is 20, is a huge Harry Potter fan, but I just haven't had the opportunity. Are you stunned?
I'm stunned.
It's okay. I haven't seen Star Wars either.
Okay, Rich, you're coming over this weekend. We're gonna have to put a stop to this.
It's too bad we don't have a webcam in this room.
I'm with you right now with Star Wars. Sorry, I'm kind of
okay.
Wow.
So there's a whole lot of pop culture that I am not aware of. And you would think that wouldn't be the case, considering that I'm, in the classroom with a bunch of 16 and 17-year-olds. And
you have 4 kids.
And I have 4 kids, and they're all schooling me on a daily basis. So how important is it to put the phone down and read?
It's really important.
Okay.
I see with my own daughters, they used to love reading, and then something happens in middle school, and it's just like, whether it's not cool or it's just not the thing that they like to do, but I've really worked with them to find a balance. And so, they've got the things that they do on their iPads, and then they've got their art time, but I've worked really hard to match them with some challenging books that are like above their level, but in areas that they like. So like, Twin, the youngest, it's The Hunger Games. Twin, the eldest, she wants to work for NASA someday. So I got her into one of the Andy Weir books, and it's taken her, she's reading Project Hail Mary right now, and she started it in September, and she's just under halfway through it now. But anytime I'm like, you should go read, she's like, oh yeah, no, I got to get back into that. And she'll go and she'll read it. So it's taking her a long time to get through it, but it's a book that I worked my tail off to find something that, would speak to her interests, challenge her a little bit, and get her reading. And she absolutely loves it. So it's very important. And we expect kids to read more and more and more as they get older, and their interest in what they're reading goes down. So, I think last year I was here, I was like, raise one arm and then put another arm as across it. And, the one going up is the amount that we expect them to read, and the arm that's, sort of sloping downward is their interest level in it. And that kind of peaks in the middle grades. So it's very important to keep them reading, give them time to do it, and provide them the tools, provide them what they need.
Is there scientific evidence that sixth grade is kind of the cutoff point?
I think it's middle school in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They start going into that forced reading of, you have to read Of Mice and Men or Fahrenheit 450, some of the books, the classics. I mean, and of course we want them to read the classics, but they're forced to read a genre maybe that they don't connect with, and then they relate reading with being forced to do something. And so having the wide selection of books in the classroom makes it easier for a teacher to say, hey, we're reading this in class, but try this one, you might like that. And it kind of sparks an interest.
It is interesting because, there are those certain titles that everybody reads. I read, when I was in high school, I attempted to read The Scarlet Letter. I had a lot of trouble with that. And I think it's interesting to your point that you're talking about finding good things to read that feeds your interest. It's sort of like career and technical education. When they come to our classes, they find something that they really enjoy, and off they go. So it's good that you're doing that.
It took a lot to find something that would speak to, particularly Twin, the eldest. She's very picky. But, as soon as I remembered, wait, Andy Weir, it's space, it's exciting, it's like, it ticks all the boxes. And I have no doubt that she'll finish that, and I'll push her towards The Martian next. I didn't like Artemis quite as much of the three, so I'll save that one for last. But, they're still good books and in her interest range. So
if you're a parent and you do not read a whole lot, we're trusting you to get the right books into the hands of these kids, right? And the teachers are.
And, that's what the library is there for as well. That's what Horizon Books is there for. Anytime I've been into Horizon, even if it's not Tereesa, and I'm like, hey, I'm looking for something for my daughters, and they ask, like, what are they interested in? And they'll make great recommendations. So
okay, that helps a lot. Tell us about the what it's like to be a manager of a bookstore in 2024.
Wow, that's a loaded question.
Yes, it is.
Tereesa's speechless.
I did not intend to make you speechless.
You know what?
What do you need more of? Let's start there. What do you need more of?
Well,
I didn't do any better with that one, did I?
What do we need more of? Well, we always need community support. Cadillac is such a great community, but the nice thing is we're growing in the tourism, area. So of course we get a lot of foot traffic on the weekends when we have the tourism up. And we do have a lot of community support. I mean, we're open. 9 to 9, 7 days a week. So we're always there, and we see it a lot, but there are some slower times. Today, example, but that's weather driven, I think. But we always need readers. We always need people coming through the door.
It is interesting, to drive on Mitchell Street and see the lights on at Horizon Books, one of the last lights on Mitchell Street still on.
We're always there.
In the wintertime when, it's 3 hours past sundown and y'all are still open.
We're a beacon. And, when the weather's bad, we're there. We are always there. But it's not something that's bad. We enjoy being there. I've got great staff. I've got wonderful staff that, are there to back me up anytime I need help. And, are always willing to go above and beyond. I'm told quite a bit it's the Horizon way, and I appreciate that. And I think Cadillac appreciates it. It's nice to be able to run out when your kid needs this book the next day, and we have it there. And so I kind of like that. What is it like?
A book, a parent who comes to you and says, "My kid needs this book the next day." Boy, does that sound parental, Dave, or what?
Sounds like by the way, I need 3 dozen cupcakes by 8 a.m. tomorrow, and it's midnight.
That's it.
Yeah,
happens. It happens.
You were gonna answer that question.
I was just gonna say to be a bookstore manager of 2024. Well, we already touched on the we're not going to say that word, but, that is a challenge. I don't think people realize, even local authors, writers, don't realize the impact of when they publish through them. We can't order them from there. That's not our supplier. We don't get it from there. So it's difficult because we don't have exactly the wide, expansive pull that they have. Mm-hmm. We're limited, and so that's a difficult thing to be up against. But being a manager there, it's kind of a dream job.
Yeah.
But the thing is somebody would have said, you'll never have time to read a book as a store manager. I would have thought they were crazy. But I never have time to sit down and read. Mm-hmm. It's not, that our store doesn't work that way. We're always busy. We're always doing something. So that TV image of the person just behind the counter reading a book doesn't happen.
So in a way, having all these teachers locally send you lists of their wants kind of helps you.
Oh, it totally helps us.
Yeah. Okay. So, Dave, what schools are we looking at here? I mean, how big is the footprint of Spring into Reading?
So I have teachers from all 7 of the local districts that Wexford Missaukee services, and I think I've got a book list from at least every district. I think I'll have to go back and double check that now that I've said it for perpetuity on on the air here. But it's the footprint is our entire ISD. And we've kind of changed things up a little bit this year. We ran it from April 1st to the end of the school year last year. And this year there's a lot of different reasons, but we're kind of shortening the event, hopefully to build a little more urgency. We're also going to have a big in-store event towards the end of April on April 20th from I think 11 to 3, Tereesa and I are planning, and we'll have some food there, and it'll be a great day to bring people into the store to, finish clearing those lists, and just really, really excited to get the books. I don't think we totaled up last year, but I took some pictures of the book table, like when we were about to pack it up and deliver them to the teachers last year. And there was a great number of books, probably $2,000-$3,000 worth of books that got donated last year. So huge thanks to the community because they always rally for our kids.
About 200 books, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how did the donation, how did that occur? How did that come together?
So there's a variety of ways, and most of the ways are the same this year. They can either visit the website and pull a specific teacher's wish list, and they can order it right online through Horizon Books.
We have a special tab right on our homepage, as on our
your
website.
Yep.
Thank you.
What's the name of the website?
Horizonbooks.com.
Easy to remember.
Easy.
Okay.
And all they have to do when they check out, if they order it online, is just put, this is for Mr. Kenny's classroom in Manton, or this is for Mrs. Odell's classroom, or this is for, and then those books get sort of set aside. Or they can come in store. We're assembling some baskets right now that will have, a basket for each teacher that has their books, and there'll be little bookmarks in some of the books that they can look for as well. And they can just, when they check out for themselves, they can just take one of those books up to the register and pay for it and leave it behind the desk, and it gets to the teacher. So
something new though this year, we are also encouraging them to purchase a gift card for the teacher. So maybe the book isn't there right then when they come in, but and then, like I said, the teachers get the 20% off any of their choosing. Yeah. So it's kind of a great thing. They can just put $20 on a gift card for a teacher. She gets to make her decision on what she wants, plus she gets that bonus of the 20%, which is kind of a nice thing for the classroom.
When is the official kickoff of this, and is the end? Are you close to the end at this April 20th event, or give me the start and the end date of this?
Well, I mean, it's all up right now. Okay. So anyone who wanted to get a head start on clearing those lists could absolutely do so. And I think our goal is to just run it for April this year. There's a couple of extenuating circumstances that make it a little bit harder to go into May and June like we have in the past, but pretty much the whole month of April. And, from anyone who's listening can go to Horizon Books right now and click on the tab and get started early. And it'll be up through, April 30th. So.
Okay. this is important work, Dave. And how did you make this? And I know you wear lots of hats, but how did you decide to make this part of your life's work?
I taught English for a really long time, and I came from a school that did not have a open library that, had open hours for the kids to go in there. So I stocked my own classroom library, and it was a lot of scholastic titles, and I wasn't really I wasn't a librarian at heart, so if a kid took a book and didn't bring it back, I considered that a win for me. I was like, okay, well, the kid liked the book enough to keep it. But I just remember trying to find the money to keep my own classroom library stocked. And I'm in a position now where I can help support teachers. And, our mission statement at the ISD is helping schools help students. And this seemed like a really cool way to bring in community partnerships, which we're always trying to build and maintain and grow. And just make kind of this is the second annual, and hopefully I'll come in and bug you every year for the next 10 years about, the third and the fourth and the fifth, all the way up to the 10th annual, and just keep it going because it's good for kids and our community. Our community, we agree about things, we disagree about things, but one thing we could all get behind is helping grow and develop our kids. And that's one thing I just love about this community. They're always willing to step up for the kids.
And how about Tereesa? How this ties in with Horizon? It just ties in perfectly with you guys.
Well, it does tie in perfectly because, like I said, we're always wanting to be involved in the community. We want to give back to the community, and it's a great way to support our teachers. They're probably one of the most important jobs that's around is being a teacher, and so I think it's great that we can help them out and help the kids. That's the biggest asset is, they're our future, right?
I believe the children are our future.
Do you need me to sing again, Rich?
Teach them well and let them lead the way. And it's absolutely true. There is no song in history that is more true than The Greatest Love of All. For
100%.
So why don't we talk a little bit about, once again, the start, the finish, and how folks can support.
So this year we are dialing it back a little bit. We kind of left it open for several weeks last year, and we found it kind of fizzled a little bit.
Tailed off a little bit.
Yeah, it did. And so we thought, let's curtail it a little bit and kind of limit it to 2 weeks. But as it's open now, the lists are up. They can go onto the website or into the store at any time and come pick a book out. But we're really pushing for those 2 weeks to, get in there, look at a book, pull it, and then on the 20th, we've mentioned, we're hoping to have some student activities, things going on, maybe some entertainment from some of our local
entertainers,
band students, some of them, and we're going to have some snacks donated by a local business, and
it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to want to mark April 20th down in your calendar for sure.
Yes.
And it's at the store. It's 11-3. Is that what you said?
11-3 at the store. Yep.
Okay. So we're looking forward to having you back, and you have an open invitation every year to come back and talk about this. You think that the shorter time span is going to be the new thing in years forward, or?
We've only done this one other time before, so we'll look at how it goes, and we'll see for the future. I could see it morphing every year as we learn more and more about it. But everyone should always
bigger,
Yeah, everyone should always pencil in April for another ask to stock some classroom libraries, because that's our goal.
And the goal is to grow it every year, right? You want it to be bigger and better every year.
That's the goal.
Okay. Spring into reading. Dave Johnson and Tereesa Arn. Dave from the Wexford Missaukee ISD. Tereesa from Horizon Books in Cadillac. Thank you to both of you for all of your work.
Thank you for having us.
Cadillac Unscripted is sponsored by Independent Bank. And join us next week, same time, same station, for some more local chat here on 107.9.